good time to start talking about Afghanistan, a war in which the U.S. was defeated by the Taliban last year after 20 plus years of fighting or thereabouts. Well, approximately 20. So, anyway, without further ado, let's go on to the mistakes that the U.S. made, or that I think the U.S. made, that led to the defeat and what we should do about Afghanistan in the future. Okay, we all know that there was 9/11 and the U.S. was forced to enter Afghanistan. The mistake the U.S. made was first off trying to establish a new government, a democracy in Afghanistan. Afghanistan is something else. Afghanistan is Afghanistan. It is not Western Europe and is not Japan. It is an entirely different culture. The mistake we made was trying to build a puppet government there. The U.S. should have just given it to the Northern Alliance, let them fight the Taliban, and the U.S. goes after Al-Qaeda with a vengeance, like it did after Obama took office. That should have been done right away. It was foolhardy of the U.S. to think that everybody wants democracy, capitalism, whatever you want to call it. The fact of the matter is that it doesn't work everywhere. And that's just that. Look at how quickly the Afghan National Army fell apart. They fell apart very quickly. The Northern Alliance had been fighting the Taliban for years. We should have just trusted them a little more and let them set the government. Just give it to them. Let them sort it out. Because they could trade blows with the Taliban. In fact, their successor, the Northern Resistance, is fighting the Taliban right now. And I think we should do everything in our power to support them. That being said, is another mistake we made was the same mistake we made in Vietnam. The whole idea of tours is just totally ludicrous. Back in World War II, soldiers went to theater and they stayed until they won. This was not the case in Vietnam, this was not the case in Iraq, and this was not the case in Afghanistan. There was the whole idea of tours. The continuity gets lost. I mean, people get promoted, people desert in the new army, people get killed, and you could find yourself in a totally different unit than the one you started the war with very easily. So therefore everything gets messed up and all that jazz. And people are going, oh, I gotta survive my tour rather than go home. Which was even Jacques himself in Vietnam when asked why did the U.S. lose the Vietnam War. He answered it was because of tours. They would let them stay over for a year, let them go home, and then they'd come back for a year, and then they'd go home. And if they volunteered, they'd come back for a third or sometimes even a fourth tour. Anyway, it is, we need to get back into the idea of you go over there and you stay until you win. And we need, and this pretty much goes side by side with number one, we need to axe the whole idea of nation building. It just doesn't work anymore. Not in the parts of the world that people like Osama bin Laden, al-Baghdadi, and Soleimani all congregate. I mean, the world in which Ayatollah Khomeini and Osama bin Laden come from, things don't have to function the way they function here, the way they do over there. It's just that simple, and it's an idea we need to get used to. It really is that simple. And yeah, that's about it. We need to get our heads out of our asses because we don't need another Afghanistan. The Iraq War was another foolish mistake and ended up being a Pyrrhic victory, but that's a topic for a whole other video. And we also did not learn from history. The Soviets attempted basically to do the same thing and failed. And you go, oh, we were a democracy. They wanted to push socialism down everybody's throat. I mean, they said the Soviets went in there with the whole idea of, we will build roads, we will give these people medical care, and women will have rights, and we're going to stop them from abusing little kids. Yeah, sounds pretty familiar to me. And we need to get out of the idea that we can just white knight through everything. And we need to learn from history, and we need to drop the whole idea of, that's not going to happen to us. Yeah, we had a pretty good, the U.S. probably has the best logistics system ever created in history. I mean, the logistical system that the U.S. military has is just unparalleled. That being said, is the Soviets went into Afghanistan with two things we didn't have. They were a much shorter logistics trail, and they had a lot of Central Asians who could soothe cultural tensions between them and the Afghanis. You know, again, I have listed a few mistakes the U.S. made, and I hope that the right people will see this and we can prevent these things in the future. Until then, this will conclude